The Porsche Cayenne is one of the first performance SUV on the market that's grabbed so much attention that other brands have gone ahead and done theirs as well. And now we have the third generation of the Porsche Cayenne that comes in three different flavors. We have the Cayenne, we have the Cayenne S, and the Cayenne E Hybrid. And in front of us, next to me, is the E Hybrid, and we're going to talk about it. Let's start with the design. So first of all, you might look at it and say, well, actually, it doesn't look that much different from the predecessor. But actually, when you look closely, you see that it looks a lot more athletic. It looks a bit sharper. And actually, I prefer this new design. It looks much better than what we've had before. I have to say though, I still prefer the back of the car compared to the front. Starting with this front, we have this big grille on the front. As always, you have the big, inlet here and the lights going across it. It's very bold. It's very sporty and aggressive looking, but without looking too ostentatious. So compared to like buying a Urus or one of those sports performance ones out there, it doesn't look as ostentatious as those. So even though it's quite pricey, once you add all the extras, which I'll put on the screen as well to this one. The light here is matrix LED lights, but you can also upgrade this, or I say upgrade, add an extra for the HD matrix LED lights, which gives you 32,000 individual pixels in here, which then allows you, the car basically, to adjust the way the light focuses so it doesn't blind a coming vehicle, for example. So that would adjust to different various road conditions, which is pretty cool. Shame that's an upgrade. The bonnet's looking good as well. We've got the badge on the front there. At the end of the day, if you're buying this, you want that badge on the front. That's part of what you pay for. And then we've got the lines on the front, looks nice and subtle, yet adding to the design language that Porsche is known for. And then moving over to the side, we start from the front. We have the E-Hybrid badge on the side, so you know which one it is. We have 20-inch alloys. By the way, you can also spec this to different designs. So if you don't like this one, you can always opt for something bigger or something different, which I'm not a massive fan of this one. But I've seen the one on the V8 version, which looks absolutely fantastic. That's something that I would prefer to have on this. And then moving further down is nice and clean and minimalist. There's not a lot going on. There's no like fancy recessed door handles or anything like that. In fact, there's no roof rails on this one, but I think you can actually spec it so you can get that on this. Talking about the trim levels, all of them is available in a coupe version. So if you went for the Cayenne, which is the 3-litre V6.1, if you went for the Cayenne S, which is now 4-litre V8, you can get a coupe version of that as well. You can get a coupe version of this as well, which actually looks much nicer than this, but this is not too bad looking either. On this side, we get the spoiler there, nice and subtle again. This has got the panoramic sunroof added. On this side is where your fuel tank is, which you can open using a button inside. And over on the back, obviously, we've got the exhaust there. It's a mixture of electrification and combustion engine. The exhaust looks good, actually. I wouldn't, if I may say so myself, I think they look pretty nice. And then on the back, we got the light bar that goes all the way across. We've got the 3D effect Porsche logo, Cayenne over there. Again, I think the back looks sharper, looks stylish. I think it looks much better than the front, in my opinion. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And then we're looking the boot to see how much space we have. It's very practical like that. This is around 627 litres of boot space. As you can see, I've got some stuff in there already. And then there's a little space in here to store your charging cables, for example. It's got the subwoofer in there as well, the Bose sound system. You can also upgrade to the Burmester one, which gives you a bit more amount of speakers that you get in there. I'll leave all numbers on the screen so you know. This has got the air suspension package included as an extra. So that means we can do things like raise it up and down and stuff like that. And this can tow around 3.5 tons as well, which is pretty incredible if you ask me. And then you can also raise the seat down, obviously, to get a bit more space, around 1,500 plus litres of boot space. When you fold the seats down, you've got buttons there to do that kind of stuff. And then we'll press that to close the button. Finally does it. And then on this side is where we get the charging ports. If I just pop this open. So the charging port here supports 11 kilowatts onboard charging. So this should charge the battery up, which is around, I think the battery is a 25, just over 25 kilowatt hour battery, and 11 kilowatts to charge this up. So you're talking around 2.5 hours, you get that back up to full charge, which is not bad at all. You can charge it at home. Over and back, it feels very comfortable here. I mean, while I'm sitting like this, the driver's sat in that position. I'm 5'11". This is my sitting position now. We have plenty of knee room here, plenty of space for my feet. And the tunnel here is not too high up, so you can actually still sit a full-grown adults in the middle as well. So they might have their knees a bit raised up higher, unfortunately, but they can still sit there if they need to. You've got 2 USB-C ports here. You got your climate control. What I also like is the way the buttons are finished. They've got this nice groove, tactile groove on there, so you can use, anytime you see that in the car, it means you can actually press that particular thing or control it in some sort of way. So they've got their own climate control on the back. Heated seat, ventilated seat as well. This nice leather finishing, which looks fantastic. And then we have our armrest here, which has two cup holders there as well, so you can easily just rest away, and it's really nice and comfortable. And I've been lucky to be a passenger in the back as well to see what that felt like. And honestly, I could say it all day long for a long journey. And we've got the panoramic sunroof as an added extra as well, which you pay for, and Bose sound system, and it's just really nice out here. Over in the front for the driver and the front passenger, there's a lot to talk about here. There's plenty of tech, there's plenty of things to press and look at and stuff like that. The level of premium here, premiumness, if that's a word, still carries on. The seats are comfortable, you got heated seats, ventilated seat, you even got seat massage as well. So this can massage your back, your lumbar, as you're driving, which is pretty cool. You can do all that here, which I'll show you guys in a bit. In terms of space, there's a little cubby hole here, which you can store your phone, wallet, or whatever. There's two cup holders here, which can store your cans or whatever you want to store, secures them in place. And there's another spot here where you can just dump your keys. And the reason why this is here is because they've moved rather than removed the gear shifter to the front. And Porsche says the way they've designed this is to have everything that the driver needs right in front of them. Whether it's a button, whether it's a touchscreen feature, whether it's stuff you need to look at, it's right in front of you, including the start-stop button here for the engine. It's right here. The gear shift is here, and that's smaller as well. They've made it a bit smaller, which is nice and snazzy. The steering wheel itself feels nice and tactile, grippy. I love the finishing on it. It's reminiscent of the 911. You've got head-up display there. We've got the chrono clock here, which is very nice. Although I never really look at that, so I wouldn't pay extra to have that. But it's there if you want it. And over here, we have this system here where underneath here we have a wireless charging area, which is also cooled, and it's 15 watts wireless charging, which is fast, which means you can put your iPhone in there and it won't overheat and stop charging at any point. You've got two USB-C ports there as well. This supports Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And then here is your climate control. And I'm glad they've left the buttons there because I hate having to dig through here to control your climate things. So volume controls there, buttons there. But one funny thing here though is the whole thing, you press it and the whole thing moves down. Like I was saying earlier, like the BlackBerry Storm, if anyone's young or old enough to know what that is. And I quite like this grab handle here area as well, because something I do while I'm driving is just chill here for some reason. And it's just nice to rest your palm. It's the little things. And then over here, we've got the passenger screen, which is an extra. And with that, the passengers can watch a film or something while they're driving, depending on the market. But at the same time, it's got a special film over it. So as the driver, you can't see it and it won't distract you while you're driving, which is pretty smart. That's around 10-inch display. This is 12.3. And this one here, the instrument cluster, which is nice and curved. So everything's in front of you and immersive. That's 12.6 inch. But let me bring the camera over and we'll show you what this is about. So this is the Porsche communication management system. You probably won't remember that, but this is your infotainment system basically, and it's nice and subtle, minimalist, is not overly complicated in the way that it looks. So you've got Android Auto there, Apple CarPlay, you even have things like Apple Music pre-installed on there, so you don't have to have your phone connected in that way to use that sort of system, which is cool. You have your sports chrono there, so you can have a look at things like, start, stop stuff if you're going to be drag racing and whatnot. We go back out, and then we have our settings. In settings, you can change pretty much anything you want here. So you've got accounts, things like audio settings. So if you've got audio settings, for example, we've got the Bose sound system, which you can select surround sound, bass and treble if you know what you're doing. Just tweak all that. But the bit that I really want to touch on before we carry on is if you press this car button here, we can then see your drive mode that's available. So we go drive mode. We've got things like off-road, e-power, hybrid, sport, and sport plus. If you go off-road mode, for example, it shows you things like your lock differential. You can change the terrain. So you got gravel, got mud, sand, rocks, etc. I think I said snow at some point before, but there's no snow there. But you get the gist. And then you can show your surroundings with the camera as well, so you know exactly where you're going, so you don't crash or hit things. So you got that, and then you have your driver assistance system. So assistant mode, you got adaptive cruise control, which there's also a toggle on the steering for the driver to control things. But additional functions then shows you things like your speed warning, lane keep assist, lane departure warning. There's a whole bunch of basically safety elements, safety stuff here. You can even have like evasion assist as well. So it's very cool. And then you got trip information, you got your comfort level, so your seat. So this is where you can do things like your massage program, which looks absolutely amazing. You can just keep nice and fresh when you drive for a long period of time. But yeah, you can have a play around and see what you can get there. There's plenty of options, got video player and so on and so forth. I won't go through everything, but those are the main things I wanted to show you guys on here, which is pretty cool. So very intuitive, very straightforward, very easy to use and get on with. And finally, we have the instrument cluster, which is now digitalized compared to before. This has got a bunch of mixed reaction. Some people prefer the old style, some people prefer this, but I prefer this. It just brings it to the modern age, in my opinion. All this can be changed to whatever you prefer, so we can change that screen there, for example, and select whatever we want, information, car system, and etc. But we can also change, scroll up and down, and it also changes as well. If we go back out, we can also modify the other side as well. So you can see I'm changing that. Things are changing as I'm changing it. I'm changing a lot here. But yeah, you get the gist. You can change it around to wherever you prefer. So that is nicely, it's dynamic enough for every driver to have their own version of what they want to see at every time. But whatever you do, you can see the mileage on the electric side of things and the mileage available, the range available when it comes to the combustion engine side of things as well. If you have it on this mode, you can see the energy recuperation. So basically there's a green marker that comes up on here to let you know every time there's some energy recuperation going on. You can see your boost information there. So again, it just depends on what's important to you and what you want to see. And the steering column here can be adjusted as well. Unfortunately, this is not electronical for some reason, but it's there if you need to do so. So let's talk about the performance and handling of the Porsche e-hybrid. This is a fantastic car. We've been driving it around on road, off-road, just to see the way that this handles all different kind of road conditions and terrains and so on and so forth, and this does not disappoint. Before I get into that, let's talk about the trim levels. So we do get the base level Cayenne, which is a 3-litre V6 engine. You have the Cayenne e-hybrid, which is this one. So it has that 172, I think, horsepower, electric motor, gives you like 25 point something battery, kilowatt hour battery capacity. I'll leave all numbers on the screen so you guys can see all those things. And also, in combination with that 3-litre V6 engine, altogether gives you around 470 PS in this particular version here. And there's also the Cayenne S, which is now a 4-litre V8 engine. So it's a V8 engine, which sounds absolutely amazing. I've heard it drive around, someone else is driving it on this driving experience, so I can hear every time they drive past me. So that sounds really good. So if that's something that you want, you can go exactly just for that one, which is good. So the V8 4-litre version will give you 474 PS. You're looking at 600 Newton meters of torque and 0 to 62 in around 4.7 seconds with a top speed of 273 kilometers per hour. And then you have the base one that I was talking about. That will give you 353 PS and 500 Newton meters of torque. So 50 Newton meters more than before. And then this e-hybrid version that we have here, so plug-in hybrid, which by the way, you can charge using 11 kilowatt charger, which is good. It means you can charge this up very quickly in terms of, you're talking 2.5 hours to get back up to speed. But I digress. So you're looking at 25.9 kilowatt hour battery in there, and this is an increase from the 17.9 kilowatt hour battery that we had before. So in terms of power output, that will give you 176 PS, but in combination with that combustion engine, altogether gives you 470 PS, which is fantastic. 0 to 62 figures, you're looking at 4.9 seconds and top speed of 254 kilometers per hour. Plenty of numbers there, plenty of, things that probably doesn't mean a lot until you actually get in it and see what that feels like in the real world. And that's what I'm here for. In the real world, it's plenty of power. Whether you're overtaking, whether you're trying to join a motorway, whether you're trying to come out of a roundabout, it's got plenty of power delivery to get you out there very quickly and comfortably, and with a sense of safety. So you feel secure doing it. There's no issues at all. Fills you with confidence to do all those things, which is really good. For me, I think it ticks so many boxes. The 8-speed gearbox shift very quickly. That's improved as well. So you don't feel the sudden change in gears when you're putting your foot down. It's just got a nice delivery across the range, which is really good. In terms of handling though, this is also fantastic. It ticks another box there for me, whether you're cornering, whether it's overtaking and all that kind of stuff. And it's just nice and agile, and it's just really, really nimble as well. You can chuck it in the corners and you feel confident. You feel confident doing it because there's no issues at all. There's different driver modes on here. So on the steering here, there's a little dial here, which you can use to change different drive modes. You can also do it on the screen by pressing the car button, but obviously, as you're driving, you want to keep your eyes on the road, so everything will be done here. So this allows you to go from off-road to e-power to hybrid to sports and sports plus mode. in each mode as well, you can still, I think all of them anyway, you can still be able to adjust things as you wish to do so. So whether you want to adjust the level of stiffness on the steering, how comfortable it is to drive around, you can do that as well. So it's good that they give you that level of customizability to be able to customize it and make it your own in the way that you like to drive when you're driving out and about. But yeah, so there's so much to like about the car. Performance is great, handling is great. In terms of visibility, that's great as well. Though this B pillar here, I mean this A pillar rather, sometimes when I'm cornering like this, it's right in my my peripheral. So that way, sometimes it's blocking my visuals, my vision. So that can be annoying sometimes, but there's nothing you can do about that. But other than that, clear visibility through the back. It's really good. You got panoramic sunroof here. Although there's a lot of extras added onto this that makes you around £100,000. So you're talking a head-up display that's really nice and sharp as well. You got an extra display for the passenger, which you might or might not need. Is entirely up to you. You have Bose sound system in here. So there's a lot of extras. Chrono pack as well. The air suspension in here as well. There's loads of things that you pay extra for to make these that expensive. So the world is your oyster. You can spec it the way you want. You can make your money stretch however way you want. So yeah, just bear in mind, this is pricey, but you are paying for that Porsche experience, the engineering, the performance, the handling, everything you've come to expect from what Porsche is all about is right there. I love the steering as well. The way it's like very 911 reminiscent. So it feels really nice and grippy, just a really nice size and shape as well. I love it. But yeah, overall, I think it's really good. I have no issues at all when it comes to the performance and handling of the car. I think anyone who buys this will really love it, and there's nothing to miss in terms of whether you go for the coupe version, because all the trim levels that you get, they're all available in coupe version. There's also a GT version, which we won't be getting in the UK at least because of emission rules and regulations and stuff. And there's also like a Turbo S. There's also Cayenne S e-hybrid as well. So it's like a couple of configurations that you can also go for, but on the basic level, it's the Cayenne S, and the e-hybrid. The hybrid level, you can run 45 miles on electric alone, which is really good for people who just like to run around town. That's really good. You save money that way, so it makes it nice and efficient. And also, the energy recuperation is really good in this. It's a lot more powerful because what they've done is integrated it in the brake. So every time you brake, you're constantly regenerating some of those otherwise wasted energy back into the battery. So it's been fluctuating for me, and I've got 9 miles left, but it's been going up and down between 5 and 9. And because every time I brake, it's putting some more power back into the battery, which is pretty cool. My ears are popping. They're quite high up here. These roads are absolutely fantastic as well to drive on, and the off-roading element of this drive experience as well, it's been really good just to see the capabilities of what this can do. Sorry, I keep opening up my ears to pop it. So yeah, you can raise the height of the car. So you put it off-roading mode, you got different levels, level 1, level 2, different terrains like gravel, mud, snow, etc., to enable the differentials to lock in different ways. And you know, it's just really good. The air suspension doesn't affect the handling of the car either. Just to add to the practicality element as well, this can actually tow, I'm talking around 3.5 tons. So for this car, it's ticking all kind of boxes. So if you're like a caravan person, this could be a good one to buy as well, because you can tow your caravan with this. You know, and amongst other things that you can actually do. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know about the Porsche Cayenne e-hybrid. If there's any question you want to know, drop them in the comments below. And if this is your first time around here, smash the subscribe button and make sure you share it as well. It does really help me out. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.